And this week we're interviewing DannyBTalks. He is a YouTube star. He covers mainly NASCAR, but I know he dabbles in some other stuff. Danny, good to have you on this week.
Nice to be here. I wouldn't say star, but I like what I do.
I've seen a couple of your videos, and most of them usually will pop up in my suggested. And after a while, I figure that, man, I might as well just go ahead and follow this guy. I like his videos enough. So why don't you go ahead and start it off by telling us a little about yourself, what got you interested in NASCAR, and what got you to start your YouTube channel and grow to where it is now?
Well, I started watching NASCAR when I was a kid, like everyone else, I guess. Started watching about the 2004 season, kind of casually, and really got into it hardcore about 2008, 2009 range. Um, Started off liking Jeff Gordon, then became a Dale Earnhardt Jr. fan when he was coming over to Hendrick Motorsports, and rooted for him all the way up until his retirement. And in 2016, really enjoyed Alex Bowman's performance while he was in the '88 car, and when he was announced to be taken over, started rooting for him, and that's been my favorite driver ever since. And I think I'm doing pretty all right. I think I got a pretty good driver to root for right now. But as far as like how did I get started with YouTube? Well, I got started simply because it was about it was what I had to do. I wanted to work in NASCAR, but I really wanted to go work for Bristol Motor Speedway following college, but kept, networking the right people, telling someone, telling someone who's in their communications department is like, hey, I can do this for you. I can do this for you. Please give me a shot. I'll do an internship. You don't have to pay me. Couldn't get the opportunity to do nothing. So I was like, well, can't really seem to get any opportunities with a team, with a track, with anyone, with NASCAR. Keep getting, decline emails on applications I've been applying for. So I'm like, well, why don't I try YouTube? And decided to make a channel. It was like first, like I don't know what kind of videos I'm gonna make, but I'm gonna try to do something NASCAR related because at the time there wasn't really too much out there. Like Eric Estep was getting into his Out of the Groove series pretty good. It was starting to get a little bit popular, but nowhere near as it is today. Then next thing I knew, one of my first videos did really well, got like 5,000 views, and that was huge for me at the time because I just started, but had like no subscribers. The next thing I knew, I had 100 before I knew it, and things just kind of kept growing. And got an email one day from one of my now best friends, Jarrett Lundberg, the Iceberg, and he said, "Hey, I liked what you did. Maybe we should, try and do something together, like maybe get together and do a podcast or something like that." And then it started off as just two guys talking about the 2018 Daytona Duels, and it's grew into this NASCAR weekly podcast that we do on YouTube. And we've had legends and Bobby Allison on before. We've had Mark Martin on our show before. We had Mark Martin before he went on to the Dale Jr. downloads. That's kind of like one of those pat on the back moments we like to give ourselves. And got to interview my favorite driver, Alex Bowman, on our show. We've had William Byron on. We had William Byron on the literally the week that he ended up winning his first Cup race. So that was pretty cool. And
That's awesome.
we've had just numerous great guests appear on our show at this point. And it's all virtually, just like we're doing here, just kind of talking on Zoom here, and it's been a lot of fun. Made some of my absolute best friends. The Iceberg was the best man at my wedding. Black Flags Matter, Darian Gilliam. He was one of my groomsmen as well. Eric Estep would have been. He was too busy with his internship, but he hung out with me and my wife along with his girlfriend Natalie when we went on our honeymoon to Florida. So I mean, when I tell you that I've made some of my best friends, I'm not exaggerating. These are more than just guys with YouTube channels that I work with. Like I've made some of my best friends by doing this, and now it's opened up some great opportunities to connect with people actually in NASCAR, people who are with tracks, the people at the new Nashville Super Speedway that's coming back with Dover. They saw a video I did about the rise and fall of Nashville Super Speedway, shortly before we found out it's back from the dead. And, it's kind of led to some interesting conversations there that I'm excited to see what the future holds for that.
That's awesome. So how has the credentialing process been for you? I know I've seen in the past year or so, there's been more of a push towards having these YouTube sensations and media members that solely focus on YouTube and their own channel with reporting in NASCAR. And there's been more of a push in the sport to get these media members out to the track and have them credentialed officially. How has that been for you? Growing up a NASCAR fan, how did it feel to be able to get credentialed if you have been for that first race out there?
Well, I want to get some of the confusion out of the way here. I have never once in my life been credentialed. I'm not credentialed in media, nor do I know if I ever will be. I don't necessarily know if you can call what I do media. Like I try to report on NASCAR in a way that, younger guys can relate to, kids, teenagers, young 20s can relate to. That's kind of what I try to do more or less. But I am not credentialed media. I've never once had a media pass. The only person I know of from YouTube who has had a media credential before based on their YouTube channel and not another person that they're there to represent is Eric Estep and Out of the Groove. That's the only person I know of who has had a media credential. Me, myself, though, I have had, the distinct pleasure of receiving hot passes. I had hot passes for the 2019 Bristol Night Race. I had a hot pass for the 2019 Championship weekend in Miami. And I had a hot pass for the 2020 Daytona 500, and probably could have had hot passes to a lot more events this year. But of course, COVID has put a halt on that. And from my understanding, even most people who would get media credentials for NASCAR, that has not been something happening at all this year in 2020. Now, my goal one day is to, I'm kind of like, I guess I've kind of like been evolving my DannyBTalks channel into something that is kind of like, there's some fun videos like my Rise and Fall series, but not as much as it used to be because quite frankly, I just don't have time to sit down and focus on that when there's so much stuff that's in the present I do want to talk about as well. So I've kind of been focusing on my Danny B Needs a Minute series. That's kind of, I hate to say this, it's like my Out of the Groove that Eric has, but it's also like, I don't want people to think, oh, you're just copying him. In a way, it's like, not really. The reason I do it too is because I'm a big wrestling fan too. And I have 3 channels that I watch on YouTube for wrestling, and they've all kind of been inspirational for me. I watch What Culture Wrestling, What Culture Wrestling, not racing. That'd be cool if they had that. What Culture Wrestling, Cultaholic, and Wrestle Talk. Those are 3 channels who all discuss professional wrestling, whether it be WWE, AEW, whatever it is. And they all probably talk about the same stuff, but they all have unique personalities, unique perspectives. And I like that. And that's kind of what I want to do with NASCAR. That's a big reason I wanted to, get into this whole NASCAR YouTube scene, because you can create multiple perspectives. And I don't see anything wrong with that. And that's why kind of the tagline at the end of my videos I've been promoting is go support other NASCAR YouTube content creators, because we're all here to entertain you and provide you with NASCAR knowledge that, maybe you missed. Maybe you're not like me and you're on Twitter all the time trying to find out what's happening in NASCAR. Maybe there's something that, the average fan might miss, but if they go to YouTube randomly and they see one of my videos recommended, it might show them something that they might have missed during a week.
So you said you're trying to focus more on the present. So let's talk about the biggest story right now. The 2021 NASCAR schedule comes out tomorrow. Bunch of different tracks. You got the Bristol dirt track that's supposed to be coming. You mentioned Nashville. Rumors about Road America. So, and then it also came out today, Chicagoland and Kentucky's not coming back. What's your opinion on this new schedule coming up, and how do you think it'll impact the current drivers and the kind of racing vibes we have now?
Well, it's going to be interesting. I'm kind of like, I know all the rumors that are out there right now, but I'm kind of waiting till tomorrow to do like a video talk about this, because I want to do like maybe like a live reaction to reading out what is the official schedule. But it's like kind of waiting for Christmas. There's like a big present I'm waiting to open up. I want to see what's inside. Actually, it's like, I think it might be this. Like, the mom might have bought me this, but is it that? That's kind of like it's kind of the whole situation it's in right now. But Bristol as a dirt track, I love Bristol. I got engaged on the surface at Bristol.
Wow.
But I don't know if this is quite it, Chief, but I'm willing to try anything. So it's going to attract a lot of fans as long as, COVID's gone and we can have plenty of fans there. But if they are going to do it, please work with World of Outlaws or Lucas Oil to get someone who's actually meant for dirt out there, because that will help kind of cement the weekend. Like NASCAR, I don't know if the Cup cars are going to produce a good show on dirt, but hopefully I'm wrong. I mean, I grew up in a place called Harrogate, Tennessee, and we have a little track called Tazewell Speedway up there. And it's a 1/3 mile, well over like 30 degrees of banking in the turns, like 20-something degrees on the straightaways. That place is like what you would think Bristol dirt would be like, but on a smaller level. So I don't know. It'll be interesting. I'm curious, what's the result going to be like? Obviously, they had dirt on Bristol back in the early 2000s, but they only had World of Outlaws and, cars that were meant for dirt out there. This were, taking cars that are not meant for dirt. And I've always said that, the trucks work on dirt because of the way that they're made. They have a longer rear end. They don't have as much, top downforce on them. I think they're meant to work on dirt better. These Cup cars, though, I don't think it's going to produce a good show. But, hey, I'll be there for it because I've seen about everything possible at Bristol at this point.
Yeah. One more question about the current or next year's schedule. They're talking about bringing in Road America. We just had a very good debate on how we think Road America should play out. So what's your opinion on Road America and how it can make its way in the Cup?
I'm all for Road America coming to Cup. I think I've kind of been on the hype train for a little bit. Like it's a good road course. It provides good quality racing for the Xfinity Series, and I think it's well deserving for the the Midwest part of the United States to be able to see the top level of NASCAR come to their track. And I'm all for that idea. I think it's a good idea if NASCAR is moving that direction. And from what I understand, I think there's going to be quite a few Cup races that are run on road courses next year. And some of these that I've heard rumored are, well, obviously we have Circuit of the Americas coming. We have Road America, with Charlotte Roval. Hopefully Watkins Glen will be back. I don't know if they're going to do a points race again on the Daytona road course. Obviously we had that for the Busch Clash. And I don't know. I wouldn't rule out at this point the Nashville street course. Kind of maybe they could partner up with IndyCar for a doubleheader that weekend. But just because there is the demand for NASCAR in Nashville right now. But, just have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah. All right, Danny. So with everyone we interview on the podcast, we always kind of end out the interview with, or we end our show with dark horses and hot takes for the upcoming weekend. And since we have a decent amount of people we interview week in and week out, we've pushed all the interviewees to give us a hot take about the championship four and a dark horse to win the championship. So you got any hot takes for us?
I think at this point, if they keep running the way they have so far in this playoffs, I wouldn't be too surprised to see 200 cars, Bowman and Elliott, somehow get their way in the championship four.
I'm wearing the Alex Bowman shirt for you.
As far as this weekend, I'm going to Talladega. I'm excited for it. Last time we went to a race this year was the All-Star race. Saw my wife's favorite Chase Elliott win. I think it's time to see my favorite win. Last time he come up short at Las Vegas, he went out and he dominated and won Auto Club. Hey, Alex Bowman goes out and wins Talladega. He's come close before. I remember back last year when Chase Elliott won at Talladega, Alex Bowman, he timed it right. He made the right pass, but then a caution came out. He would have won Talladega last year in the spring. He can do it again.
I like that prediction.
Yeah. I was in victory lane for Chase Elliott's win, and that was surely something special. I'd never heard Talladega get that loud. But I will also be in Talladega this weekend, so hopefully I'll run into you. But real quick, why don't you go ahead and plug your social media sites and your YouTube? That way our fans can come out and follow you and support your work.
You can find me on YouTube. DannyBTalks is a channel. We have close to 15,000 subscribers at this point. Find me on Twitter at DannyBTalks, and I'm also on Instagram at DannyBTalks as well.
All right. Thanks, Danny, for coming out this week. Make sure y'all go follow him, show him some love, and we'll see you here real soon.
Appreciate it.
Awesome.
All right.